All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are going straight into it. We weren't able to stream yesterday. It's the one day a year, it's just not going to happen. But today we're all set and ready to go. Our first priority is going to be getting Kat leveled up in sneaking skill. She's taking over as the person heading out and about, and we really need to make sure she's ready for that. We do not want. Oh, let's trade longer. We do not want her running around out there getting hurt because she's not able to sneak properly. Hand over that, and we probably don't need this extra backpack. That'll just take up room. Once we get her sneak leveled up enough to where she can function as our little sneak thief, we're going to take her and get as much research material as we can. Best place to level up sneak's going to be just looking for a few fights here and there. We don't want to go to the Holy Nation. If they run her down, she's basically going to be a captured slave immediately. We started out basically at war with the Holy Nation, which is going to be iffy. Hopefully, with our very carefully selected base location over in Stove's Gamble, that won't be a big deal. But really, we're just looking for a couple people to chase us, and then we'll level it up that way. And while we're out here doing this running around, sneaking, stealing, trying to acquire a bunch of ancient science as quickly and carefully as we can, we've got people doing the training up their crafting as well as training up their ability to research science. We're going to have my tallest doing that research, making sure she's able to help us figure out all of the different defensive items we need for our base. Make sure we research the finer points of crafting weapons. That way we're ready when we make a break for it and create our new base. Need to get a little more distance for the stealth to kick on and stay on. Well, it looks like that already got chewed up. But that's really all we're looking for, is to power level her sneak enough so that we can go raid Narco's trap. That's going to allow us to get a lot of science really early. The main things we're after are hydroponics and anything that helps us defend the base. The weapons crafting will have to come later, although we're interested in it. In the short term, we just want to get a base set up to where we stop paying for materials while we're leveling our crafting. We want to mine those ourselves, and that'll make things a lot easier. We just want to get a base set up pretty much as soon as possible. So we're going to need a few spare cats to be able to hire some hired muscle just to keep us safe at the very start too. So since we're hostile with these guys, we can sneak around behind them quite a bit and just power level this. With the extra equipment we have on, Cat will be up there in no time. We did get busted, but that's not that big of a deal. Especially at nighttime, they tend to just let you get away. Not even sure I need to be getting as close as I am. Might be able to level it without getting too close at all. I wish I could just put them on follow. That way I could level my sneak automatically. That'd be pretty great. Ooh, we did forget to grab food. Now that we've got food, it'll be a little easier to stay out here further away. We did, especially since we're using the foreign sabers as our weapons, we're probably going to leave the animals mod off. I did figure out with pretty good certainty that that's what was crashing my game. Any of the extra animal mods seem to just crash the living hell out of this, and I don't know if it's something to do with some of the other mods I have. I don't know what really causes it. I don't think it's necessarily an instability in the mod. It's just something mixed with that isn't working with my mod packs. So we're not going to be able to get the overpowered armor and the overpowered weapons, unfortunately. But it was to where I was trying to start a new save and it just crashed probably every 5 or 6 minutes. I couldn't even get to my first autosave before it would crash. And at some point that's just too much. Especially if I'm like it's one thing to play like that, but to try and stream that way or record anything for content, just impossible. It's not going to work. Ooh, they're angry. Ideally, we'd like to do this in Ocran's Valley, or Ocran's Pride, rather, where there's just a ton of swamp raptors, but it's just too easy to get ran down by the Holy Nation. We're kind of risking that even being out here. It's just not quite as bad. Trying to give him the good old bonk. There we go. Give this guy a good old bonk. Our stealths come up pretty far. If we were to switch out to the actual ninja rags, we would probably be close to 100. But we're eventually all going to be in the assassin rags anyway, so I may as well stick with those. Bulls will work pretty good too, kind of like the Raptors would have, just because they have such a low movement speed. We don't have to worry about them catching us. Oh, I can follow them. Oh, but not while stealth. That's why it doesn't work. I knew it didn't work. Oh boy. Just me showing how many times I wonder something I've already figured out doesn't work, and then I'm like, well, maybe this time. It does seem like the Bulls were a good option though. Even with all the injuries, we're sitting at a 62. With our actual stealth sitting at 65, we're pretty well off. Yeah, you can see with this healing up, we'll probably be in the upper 90s. Oh, our Bulls are getting away. It looks like our injuries put us, like, once they healed, we're in 90s now. All these Bulls got absolutely clapped by. Oh no, it was a lot of wolves. I was like, there's no way. A handful of wolves took out all of these guys. I was like, no, that doesn't seem right. But we'll sell this junk off, and then we're ready to head off to Narcos Trap. It would be better if I had acid gear, but that would require going all the way to Morn, buying it, or hoping we get lucky going into Mongrel. And we could also get very unlucky going into Mongrel and just get absolutely dusted. We're going to have to check on our townies here soon. Gurgle, are you tweaking? Always with the armors. They're always tweaking. Alright, we still made it out with a few thousand extra cats, even with replacing our food with really good food so that we stay full without having to fill our backpack. Having a little pathing issues, but we'll get it sorted out. Alright, my tallest, you need to go purchase materials. Jag Longer needs lots of iron plates to get back to work. Alright, now it's letting us sell direct, which is going to make this easier. And once you get that going, you don't ever want to waste it. So we're going to sell everything we can. Hopefully Cat doesn't get into too much trouble while I'm not paying attention. But you can see our money just skyrocketing because apparently making basic swords, you get such a huge return on the iron purchases. It's just crazy. And I know bandanas are. Like, I know bandanas are good money. And she makes them so fast. That's probably the craziest part, is how quickly you can get, you know, 36,000 cats worth of stuff built up. And I could sit here and just keep selling, but I don't need to. Just sell that stuff off. Buy more iron plates and more fabric. So we're still getting a lot of money out of this, which is great. But eventually, money becomes kind of obsolete when you can farm way more materials in a short amount of time than you could ever buy. And we're just going to hang out, not sitting in the acid until it's dark time. Jag Longer's at 40 in weaponsmithing, Gurgle's in 45 armor smithing. They're already like a little over a third of the way there, pretty close to half. Well, I would say we're shooting for 90 before we start seeing good results, so they're pretty much halfway to being ready to start smithing real weapons and armor. And although we're going to use the light armor, it'll still be good to have it higher quality. I mean, it's still better. Better is better. But the weaponsmith is where it's going to make the biggest difference. That's where we're going to see a huge difference in damage. We'll have to get the research to make that happen, but that's going to be what Cat is headed out to get right now. We're just waiting for nighttime to fall. Because once it's nighttime, we'll be able to get in there pretty quick without too much trouble. I gotta stay out of the acid rain until then, though. We are going to be able to unlock the gate. That's crucial. This is our newest ultra thief, super mega spy, Cat. Our cult leader only recruits women that are even shorter than her, and makes them all call her my tallest. So that's where we get these little bobble-headed freaks as our recruits. But all that's the crocheting Fennec's fault. She said that we should do a bunch of all tiny recruits. Alright, we got nighttime. It's time to get in there. We have to move fast because we only have so long before they notice us trying to get in the gate. There's a lot more paladins right at the gate than I remember. This is usually my go-to thing to bust into early. But if they see us... Oh, it's so dark. This seems like it's going to work out. Alright, we're in. Still getting our skin melted off, which isn't great, but we're going to get inside and recover from that. The trick is not getting spotted by the spiders. Some of that stuff might be worth taking, but I'm going to have to figure that out a little bit later. We want to make sure we got room for everything that is really going to advance our science. I thought that spider somehow knew we were here for a second. I was like, oh no. No, go back up here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sheesh. He ain't trying to give me a heart attack. Okay. Just want to check all of the easy to open stuff first. Oof, we're already starting to get encumbered, so that's a little spooky. Where's this spider going? No. We don't seem to be able to get around it. Kind of just have to wait for it to go away now. Oh boy. Try and speed past it. Speed running. Hopefully not speed running our death. Okay, seems like we're good. But we're already starting to get encumbered, which is what I'm worried about. If we get too encumbered, getting out of here is going to be interesting. The spiders move with such purpose. As soon as they start moving, it always makes me think they're on to me. And you see that FreakBot 3000 just hauling ass. You're like, what? I didn't do it. What? We're going to have to wait till the cover of darkness to break out of here, probably, too, sadly. You have tools. Don't be a tool. I keep thinking that spider's going to come over here and just absolutely annihilate me. All right. We are making it out of here with a ton of loot. I shouldn't say making it out of here till we actually are, but We have gathered a substantial amount of loot, and now the only question is, can we make it out of here? Throwing our weapon in the backpack, kind of a cheat, knocking 8 kilograms off of our weight. Not a cheat, but like a good move. We don't want to fight anything anyway. If we end up fighting here, we are cooked. We are roasted with cheese. Serve us on a platter. It's over. Now we just have to wait for that nighttime to come back. Jaglonger just melts through all the iron we buy her, it seems like. This is another reason why we really want to move to mining it and refining it ourselves. We can get ahead of her, and then she'll just never run out of materials and continually improve. I guess one thing we could look for, if there's anything that's super expensive but not crazy heavy. Like, these are worth so much money, but they're not light. This stacks 5, that stacks 10. I mean, do we really need a sleeping bag? That's what I'm thinking. The amount of money that can be made here. Just sitting here juggling, like, how can I fit this stuff in here and still stay mostly unencumbered? Alright, we are pretty much here at nighttime. I think for Kenshi, though, we gotta wait till closer to 11, yeah. So we can kind of see from this marker here, now it's finally actually dark. We can just make a run for it. Keep making a run for it. Don't stop there. Sheesh. Cat's really gotten up to speed quickly, at least. That's one of the nice things about stealth, especially when you have the equipment for it. You know, we'd be sitting at less than 70 right now in stealth, and we're up in the 90s just because we had the right gear to keep moving. And being able to just pass that off to somebody and let them train up super fast. Stealth's one of those things where even when you're wearing a lot of gear that adds to your stealth, it still just levels up so quickly as long as you've got hostile enemies around that you're sneaking past. And it doesn't take much to get something to treat you as hostile. Or to be treated as hostile to you, I should say. How are you already out of materials? Why do you go through them so fast? That's crazy. Gurgle's just gonna stay ahead because she needs less materials to produce the item she's producing. Let's get these iron plates in play. No, come on, let me sell direct. Stop being like this. There we go. Still couldn't tell you, there's a bunch of little tricks to it that let you sell direct or it won't let you sell direct. I've tried just about everything, and I can tell you that no matter how many times I test it or try it, something will change. There's like two or three different ways to get it to work, and for some unknown reason, it'll switch between those of which one will work. It's such a strange thing just trying to figure out what you have to do to get it to let you to sell direct. Cat made it back safely. That's good. Now we're going to be able to do a ton of science research as well. And with those CPUs that she was able to get, we'll just get another pile of money coming in. I just want to get through selling all this armor. And then, did we sell all the weapons already? Yep, went through, sold those. Did the iron refresh already? Can we buy some more plates, please? Nah, daggone. That's okay. Cat has some stuff to sell, and then we got to get this science cruising. And the question is, can we do hydroponics yet? No, we cannot. Because we're not looking to. Well, we could produce hashish, but we don't necessarily need to. That's not our priority. Our priority is food and being able to mine stuff really well. So let's go ahead and get tech level 4. Get that cooking. And I'm half tempted to go back and just loot for money's sake, but we're already making money. So it's really just about what's the next target to get more science. And I think that's going to be making our way to Morn, getting the ability to move through the acid stuff, and that's going to let us go to not only Black Desert City, but also look at hitting up some different places like the Fishman Isle, things like that to get some quick and easy science. If we can just get in and out of there, it won't be that bad. as we get the tech bench leveled up, this is what's really going to make us able to do a base without just falling apart immediately. I generally don't like to reload saves unless I feel like I really got hosed by something buggy happening in the game. Ooh, not like that. But one of the things that can really get you is starting a base too early. And it doesn't have to come down to how skilled your fighters are. You can kind of bolster it with science like we're looking to do. But you've got to have something. You've got to have either good science and good turrets and enough people, or you have to have enough powerful people. I'm kind of surprised we can't do hydroponics yet. Let's see if tech level 5 brings that up. Gurgle, what is going on here? You are struggling. I was just say, is it the placement of that bench? Like, what is it? Gurgle is tripping. Gurgle is losing her mind. So the cool part about this is we can skip straight to tech level 6 and then reassess where we're at. But I wanted to get hydroponics. That's the main thing I'm after. Because once we have hydroponics, that makes food so much easier. I honestly think I just put that bench way too close to the stairs. Okay, so upgrading the bench now should give me a good idea of if hydroponics is our next goal or if we just want to go ahead and go to the next thing. We'll have cat help too. So it looks like we can get hydroponics and tech level 6, which is perfect. That'll do just fine. So we need 2 pieces of hemp. We're going to need a lot more ancient science books. I can't stand watching Gurgle tweak out like that. I've got to fix this somehow. Hemp farming, and then hydroponic hemp. So now I just need enough ancient science books to do vegetables. That's all we need to get started. We'll get that first before we worry about hydroponic hemp. We don't need anything above crossbow turrets. We do want large defensive walls, so we're going to need to grab 2 more engineering research for sure. We can send that cat out hunting for that. See, I'm doing it basically the same way. Still ending up with the weird result. Dang, man. It's so frustrating trying to sell stuff like this. Because otherwise, it's a ton of clicking. I mean, a metric ton of clicking. Ugh. Oh well. I'm just going to make my peace with it. Maybe if we can get my tallest to do it. She didn't seem to have any issue. See, it is honestly just random, is all it is. There's some steps to it, but there's something else random involved that will make it work or not work. That's just I can't figure out. I am gonna move that clothing bench so Gurgle doesn't end up dying there. I think maybe over here will be less of a tight fit. Hopefully that spot will be a little bit better fit. So we know we have pretty much everything we need to get started. The only thing I really want is to get more engineering research. As much as we could would be the best, but engineering research, ancient science books. We can send Kat again to go get that. So we're going to go ahead and send Kat off to Flats Lagoon. We're going to try and play it safe, not do anything too risky. If we notice that we're about to run into trouble, we'll pause, hide. But we're going to try and get what we need from there. I don't necessarily want to go to Black Desert City just yet, but if we have a lot of money left over, we might hit up Morn and then move to Black Desert City. Okay, so right now we're trying to send Cat to Flats Lagoon. There's a city here that's going to sell us a lot of ancient science books, hopefully some engineering research. And then, like I said, if we have enough money left over, we can look at hitting Morn, buying some protective gear, and moving on to Black Desert City. But I don't know if we'll have the money for that, and it's pretty dangerous to do without the protective gear. There's no way. What is going on? How? I don't understand how she's just pouring through the metal that fast. We're gonna have to hold off on buying any more materials until after Kat's made her book run. Depending on if the turf war is started or not, we might be able to make some extra cats while we're here. If you hang out long enough in Flats Lagoon, eventually a hiver will overstay their welcome in a shop and try to break their way out, and that will start a fight inevitably where anytime the hive come to visit Flats Lagoon, they're just attacked on sight, and their Garu will be loaded with very valuable loot. And it's just you can go scoop it up, sell it right to the tech hunters, and they won't bat an eye because at that point the hivers are a different faction, so they'll always buy things stolen from them. But two, they won't care if you stole from the hive because they're basically criminals as far as they're concerned from that point on. Well, Cap made it here safe. That's the first step, right? Chunk. We didn't get enough engineering research. Oof. We need those large defensive walls. Starting out with that is beyond good. We got here at the perfect time, though. We can basically head towards Morn, hopefully without being eaten. No guarantee, but it would be pretty sad if that much valuable loot got eaten. We're going to be very careful. We're going to just stop worrying about our crafters for a little bit. We'll sell their stuff once she's somewhere safe. Goodness, didn't mean to slap the daylights out of the mic there. I'd love to keep Jag longer occupied, but I'm sure she'll run out of iron any second. Okay, we made it to the back side of Morn. We got to technically get through. There we go. Now we're relatively safe in here. We still have to pay attention though, because this place gets raided by animals all the time, and the shop we need isn't open. But beak things tend to sleep in their nests a lot at night. and they're not the best at noticing you. So in nighttime, it's like the safest time to move in an area where beak things can be. In fact, you might find that if you've got decent enough stealth, even if they're not the fastest character, you can move pretty much wherever you want to without worrying about beak things specifically. If you move at night and you don't run, face first into them or into one of their nests. Yep, Jaglogger's already ran out of materials. That's insane. She's less and less behind Gurgle, but Gurgle's able to keep working. Alright, and see, this is the other problem. This guy doesn't even have everything we need. We need the hat too. That's probably good enough to not get melted, but ideally we wanted the full setup. That is unfortunate. But we're not going to run to Katoon in the middle of the day. We're going to try and head towards Black Desert City. We are out here alone, so we do have a lot of ways to get around it if we get attacked by beak things, but we're hoping we'll just get lucky and we can keep things moving. I don't want to spend too long in this in between phase. I want to get us the research we need, get it researched, and then start immediately just a recruiting frenzy and get the base up. It looks like we'll probably want to recruit mercenaries from Flats Lagoon. So that's something to keep in mind. We'll want to grab mercenaries from there before we go over to actually build. From there, it's just a matter of recruiting enough people, getting them good enough weapons, and setting up their training. Training can be a bit of a hassle. I'm hoping that we'll be able to sort that out relatively easy. Basically, you get your hands on a powerful animal, stuff it in a bed, and let them whip on it for a while. We also might be able to, if our gate defense is as solid as I'm hoping, we might be able to have our basically just have our people doing pickup duty. Just grab all the people that pile up at the gate, heal them up, stick them in cages, and then we'll just train off of them, give them a crappy weapon so they can't really hurt us. We're pretty close to that smoggy poop hole. Let's see if we get lucky. We gotta sell stuff at the very least. We're not gonna have the money. We're not gonna have the money to buy everything I'd want to buy from there. It's kind of a bummer even setting foot in there without enough money to buy everything you want, but it's not the end of the world. No, I goofed it again. It's so lame trying to get this to work. No, come on, what is it? Why are you like this? I can't find a video on it either. If anyone knows how to guaranteed be able to sell directly on individual items without dragging them over manually, that is what I'm trying to figure out. Because, see, now it's just working. And from my perspective, I just did the exact same steps as before. And I just want to be able to do it consistently. And if I can, I wanted to figure it out for myself, but I'm kind of at my wits' end. And I haven't seen anything from Frankie or anybody like that. If you know someone who plays Kenshi that knows how to consistently make sure you can right click straight out of your armor storage or weapon storage and sell directly, I would love to know what the little piece of the puzzle is that I'm missing. There's got to be some trick to it that I'm not quite catching on to. I'm just glad it works eventually 90% of the time. Like, I don't think since I kind of figured out how it works, I've never had it completely stump me for too long. It's usually like the 5 or 6 try, it just magically starts working again. But it shouldn't take that. I'd really love to understand exactly what I need to do and how to do it to get this going. So we're actually trying to get to the scrap house, so let's get there. So the dust coat is protecting us from most of the acid. And then we've got 10% from our pants. I forgot about that. So that's helping. We're almost immune to it. Okay, that was the most important part. We don't necessarily need the AI cores yet, but we do. There's only 2 anyway. Oh, they're marked up. I forgot. They'll pay a premium for them. Oh boy. So one of the mods I have makes it better to be a trader. So unfortunately, it actually nerfed the crap out of this place. Those are supposed to be 25,000 cats normally, but they're marked up by 50%. So I can't afford them. But that's okay. That kind of makes that math pretty easy. I could wait, sell some more stuff, and then go back. But I want to get our base off the ground. I want to be done with the towny BS we're doing. Every dime after this, I want to put into recruiting and getting them at least as equipped as we are and getting the materials we need. Kat is going to have to get stronger. We're going to use her as our Garu carrier. So she'll be heading to Mongrel after we drop this science off, and I'll show y'all what I always do. If you've been watching, you've probably seen me do it before. You go to Mongrel, you buy a trader's backpack, and there is an automatic ore drill that you can loot without getting in trouble and just fill up your backpack with iron very quickly. We are not, I repeat, we are not swimming through acid. It won't be tolerated. This behavior is silly. But that's how I typically get my my strength up, at least initially. Once we have a base, it'll be very simple to set up a mining operation that levels their strength. The big thing is that first character that can carry your Garu. Oh, I thought the game was still crashing. I was like, no, I gave in and removed the animal mod. No. She just stopped running. Oh. But yeah, I had so many problems today just trying to see if I could get away with keeping that animal mod, and it just wouldn't stop crashing. I adjusted so many different settings. I imported my game. I like the idea of stronger animals because they make it even scarier for even longer, especially the pickaxe things. Like an elder pickaxe thing is an elder beak thing with the stats of the great white gorilla, but the health of a leviathan. It's crazy. So you're not taking that out unless you got the right equipment or you're extremely skilled. And the overpowered weapons and armor you can make, you can't make them without going and killing those really powerful animals, and they're a little rarer than the other ones unless you install a ton of mods, then they're almost completely not there. But that goofball mistake aside, I really wanted to keep those in. They are like aspirational fights almost, and aspirational gear. Like, you're only going to put your very best guys in that OP armor unless you're going to play that playthrough forever. You're just never going to stop playing it. It takes too much material. But it would have been awesome. Or we could have done just the weapons and really focused in on that. But it would not stop crashing the game, so we had to give up on it. Maybe I'll keep trying later, but I uninstalled it. It was to the point that it was the only thing that changed to where my game would just never crash unless I alt tabbed a ton of times in a row, which you really can't. If you alt tab a lot with Kenshi, at least in my experience, you're going to crash a lot. But if you don't do that, my game just doesn't usually crash. So when I would go, 5 minutes, it would crash. I'd reload, start playing, and it would crash before I even got the next autosave. I knew I had to figure out something. It just wasn't going to work. So I think today the furthest we're going to get is getting this research done and getting Kat started on her strength grind. I don't plan on doing a lot of off-screen stuff, although the strength grind is about as boring as it gets. So maybe I'll reconsider that. Like, very strictly just do the strength grind, not even keep going with the smithing. But I kind of like doing these more always recording when I play type playthroughs. It seems like something will happen interesting that you wouldn't want to miss. And I mean, this is a grindy game. If you play Kenshi, you know what it's like to play this. You understand there's going to be a grind. Maybe while we've got her grinding away and the research is done, we can get my tallest to go do something while she's getting her strength up. We are going to recruit Beep. He's going to be the only non-human in the group because Beep. My tallest would never forgive me if I didn't let her keep Beep as a pet. Alright. Heavy defensive. What? Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. Large defensive walls. So we got hydroponic vegetables. Semi-automatic, automatic mining tech. Man, we're gonna need a lot more engineering research to be able to do those, but that's okay. We don't need to work through the weapon grades if we're gonna do this long term. Like, we're gonna wait to really start crafting higher quality stuff until they're leveled up enough. I believe I can just wait, not even pay for advanced weapon grades. Let's see how we're doing on electricals. Advanced battery capacity would be good. I think we're gonna do vegetables and hemp. And then that will let us produce fabric if we need to. Or if we just want money, we can produce hashish. We could do spotlights for our crossbows. We are going to stick to crossbows though, because if we don't, we're going to accidentally kill our own people. Maybe that's part of it, is we go and recruit robots before we even do that. As soon as we get robot recruits that are all wearing somewhat heavy armor, then we can look at doing that. I said Beep's going to be our only non-human recruit. We're also going to recruit skeletons just to man turrets because they have a habit of starving to death on purpose, and I'm just not about it. I'm tired of it. So we're just going to put a bunch of skeletons on the walls to guard it. I'm sure I could overanalyze this and drive myself insane trying to figure out the very best way to do this, but it's probably just not worth worrying about it that much. So I do have to learn advanced weapon grades. But now the next 4 AI cores I get can go straight into making edge weapons. Battery power is going to be good. Oh, we need regular books still? Okay. You can buy regular books. Uh, I'd rather have advanced battery power and capacity over wind generation. Depending on the wind out there, we really don't know if we're even going to have wind. I haven't even checked that. So we're not going to go. We're going to go for being able to use generators. And we're going to be going for batteries. Really good batteries. We've got walls. We've got crossbows. We're going to want the exterior lighting and indoor lighting. Yeah, we'll grab the ore drills. That should be everything we need. We don't have large building shells yet. But this will get us started. That should be enough science. Now we can focus on recruiting, hiring some thugs to guard us while we get started, and focus on getting our strength up. We've already got a spare wooden backpack, so we'll bring that with us. We'll head to Mongrel and get that strength grind on for Cat. Now we can also get back to letting Yaglonger and Gurgle keep crafting. I'm not sure they won't necessarily. They might be in the 90s before we head out. If that's the case, and they hit 90s before we head out, we're pretty set. We'll be able to get people geared up right after we get the base up and running. But the trick is we need enough people to build the base fast enough, and ideally we want to have enough robots. But I can't recruit them the easy way until we have a base. Holy, this is what I mean by being careful. We're not going to do that. Oh, oh man, I about swallowed my own heart. She would be absolutely dead. Maybe make it to the Hyver City, maybe, but probably dead. Wow, I don't even have the nests turned up. They're everywhere. We could make a quick fortune here if we just didn't value our lives. Maybe we'll hire those mercs. No, we need the mercs to guard our base. We need the mercs to guard our base. Really, all we have to do is get to Mongrel, and then that's when we're the most close because we can just pile up, I think, maybe a handful of building materials. Let's see. Oh, we haven't got our research done. We'll move up ore drill because I want to see what that costs. Because all we need to do is be able to build 2 ore drills, a refinery, and a stone processor and drill. Or stone mine. So we'll probably just need iron plates. Oh. There we go. But no one, it doesn't matter if anyone sees you looting from this, they do not care. But before we do, we will go ahead and snag enough food to keep her fed while we're here. 3. Well, it needs to be not in that backpack, actually. Okay. Let's make sure we keep Yaglonger working, not just Gurgle. No, we don't even need those. Sheesh. Ugh. Why is this being so annoying? Come on now. So luckily, because I have the kind of buy any building mod installed, I can at least buy one of these little tiny ones that may not have been for sale before. That'll let me build an iron ore storage container in there, and I'll be able to set her to haul to it, and I'll show you how to really automate her strength training. And this is the fastest you're going to get ore put together to fill a backpack. You're not going to get it faster any other way. And really, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you're carrying around a backpack this heavy and a body of some kind, which is really easy to get in Mongrel. That's another reason to be here. There's almost always fogmen piled up by the dozens at the gates. We shouldn't have any trouble finding somebody to pick up. I mean, if we have to, we'll just pick up beat. But yeah, look over here. There's just tons of fighting going on. Somebody's going to be laying on the ground. In fact, what we can do, take this backpack, toss it on the ground right there, come out here and scoop us up a hyver body right quick. I don't see any green, which means there's not going to be any of the expensive guys out here, but these ritual knives added by the mod I use and the teeth will help us get some funds going too. It's always good to keep the money flowing. And our backpack will still be there. We can loot this. We only need a little bit more iron. We'll be good to go. We need 4 more. We'll let that fill up while we go get our iron storage set up. So then all you have to do is you want to loot a bunch of this iron and toss it on the ground. I don't think it's going to work in the machine because I've tried that probably 100 flipping times. It just doesn't do anything. We're not going to recruit Beep till we're done with this training business, but he'll just follow us around beeping and sighing in silence. He won't take offense to it. He'll just keep following us till we recruit him. So really the idea here is you keep the backpack in your actual inventory while it's loaded with iron so you can't accidentally take it back and empty it. And then we're going to set ourselves to haul to that storage. And when we're not hauling to that storage, we're going to set ourselves to go mine this iron resource. This is because hauling, you have to get within a certain distance before it'll work. So if we're too far away, she won't even recognize that she can grab that iron off the ground and haul it back. So you can watch her strength stat. This is probably one of the fastest ways to get it to go up. She's going to stay at 75% encumbrance or better, and she's carrying something. So she drops that off. And then what she's actually doing is going to operate a machine. She's heading out there to mine that iron. And en route to that, she's going to notice there's iron on the ground. See, it just triggered. Now she's hauling too. This is going to have her go pick up that ore that's on the floor and bring it over. Now, I can't do it directly from the machine, but you can do it with any ore you just threw on the ground. So this can take some time to set up, but once it is, you set and forget, and they'll just sit and strength train. She's going to make as many trips as there are pieces of raw iron. I could do more. I could just catch it and update it when she runs out. You do run the risk of her walking out into somewhere dangerous, but for the most part, even if she was to do that, she'll be protected and be safe. But we started at 12 strength and she's already almost 15, which is just really fast. No. Alright, well, we're getting big caught up on money. I think more due to the cloth than anything, just because it takes such a small amount to buy the materials and it goes so far. I mean, you think we're selling that for 391 cats? It probably takes only one piece of fabric to make it. Just a big money. And her strength since we left has gone from 14 to 19, going close to 20 already. That's why I like to do that strategy. You get so much strength so quickly. We'll get my tallest back to researching. We almost need just one more person here just to buy stuff, and that's kind of what Cat could have been doing. Yeah, Beep's still following us around. He's not going to give up. Oh, sorry, we're at 21 strength already. So Cat is going to be ready very quickly to at least be strong enough to carry a Garu on her shoulders. We can kind of get a feel for that by just dropping the heavy pack. So we're at 24% encumbrance. So it's not going to be very long before she's not encumbered just by carrying someone. And for whatever reason, Kenshi thinks that a dead Fogman and a fully packed Garu weigh the same once you pick them up. Maybe gravity works a little different here, but yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of use some of our cultish ways to be able to carry a Garu full of materials to get the base started. We're just going to get the ability to mine stone, make building materials, and the ability to make iron plates and mine up that iron and build the base ourselves. We're not going to try and carry like 6 backpacks full of stuff, I don't think. She might have high enough strength that I don't even need to set the iron up again. Poor Beep. Just hold on, man. I don't want you running out of. I don't want you getting hungry while I'm strength training. That's really all it is. Alright, looks like our research is done. My tallest looks kind of goofy with that hat on. Little tiny feet. She doesn't have shoes? How does the cult leader not have shoes? We gotta figure that out. We'll get you some shoes. But we're gonna make sure we buy iron while the buying is hot. They don't sell sandals. They don't sell sandals. The armor shop's gonna have something, right? Unholy boots. Well, she gotta have something on her feet. We'll get some sandals going soon. Oh, what am I saying? We'll just make some sandals. I'm crazy sometimes, guys. Can very easily just use that clothing bench to make some sandals. What a goofy move. Wooden sandals. We'll just make a few of those. Alright, now the cult leader has sandals. I felt like that had to happen, right? And I know the weapons we're making are straight garbage, but we don't want to waste the fabric making weapons that we're also going to consider trash. We'd rather use just iron, cost ourselves a lot less money to level our weaponsmithing, and then use our fabrics to make us a small fortune while we do it. So we're up to 27 strength already. If we drop the heavy backpack, we're down to 9% encumbrance. We're very close to being able to carry whatever kind of creature on our shoulder, keep a backpack, a weapon, food, the healing items we need, and still be able to do all of that. Let's go ahead, grab a few more of these and chuck them on the ground while we're here. Keep that automation flowing. Let's also double check that we have food. Yep, and Cat's still got plenty of food. So we're pretty well set up. We've got the science we need. Our crafters are going to be, holy, at least in the 70s before we even try to go. And now that I can focus more on keeping Jag longer crafting, we'll probably be in the 90s very quickly. If I were to just keep this running off stream just tonight, we'd be into base building by tomorrow. I just planned on having this playthrough be streamed in its entirety, so I don't think that's necessarily the way I want to go with it. We're just going to stick to it. Hope you guys enjoy seeing the finer details of how to keep this stuff moving along quickly. Let's get some hemp storage. We don't want to put it somewhere doofy that messes everything up. Poor Gurgle was going to have a heart attack. because we're going to need. Can we put lights like right there, just to make sure they actually keep their really high stats while they're crafting, please. It lets them be more efficient, if I remember correctly, too. It's not just the quality of stuff they produce. All right, see, yeah, we've got more fabric than we can even put away. We don't need to worry about fabric. One of the other playthroughs I want to do as a goofy video is just seeing how fast I can make 1,billion cats by doing nothing but having crafters making bandanas. I heard, I think it was either Preds or Ambiguous Amphibian said you can't make 1,billion cats in Kenshi, and without mods to where they actually have money in the shops, that might be true. It could take so long it wouldn't be worth it. But when the shops have a reasonable amount of money and can buy whatever you produce, even without a mod to make all the stuff I make cost more, just straight up selling it for what it normally costs, you can make a ton of money. Let's see if the shop refreshes before they close up. We might be able to just hang out like this, and when the shop closes, it'll still refresh. Cat's up to 30 strength already. Well, are they going to get new stuff or what? No. So I think that's where we'll wrap it today. We will pick up with finishing off our crafters. We're just going to move them out at whatever they're at. We're not going to worry about holding off for them to be caught up. We're not going to have the science research to let them craft anything fantastic anyway. Cat's strength's up at 33. She's going to be able to carry whatever we need her to on that Garu. Yep, she's already set. So we'll let her finish that out. Well, I'll save it here. And then at the start of the next stream, we'll get her set up for a few more rounds doing that so she can get even stronger. and we will send my tallest to start recruiting, seeing if we can get some more human females for the cult, expand our numbers, and look into what it's going to take to get some skeletons. I was thinking of just grabbing some thralls from Venge and using those as our turret guards. Until we can get that going, though, or just have enough money to hire skeletons through the Adventurers Guild, I don't know what we're going to do. We may just have to put people up there and hope they don't die. That's kind of the plan. We do plan on using a water feature with this one, so we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of planning that has to go into the base. So I might do that might be what we do mostly tomorrow, is just planning out the base, seeing what we can do, and seeing what kind of resources we're looking at. But we're going to close it up there for tonight. And then, like I said, tomorrow we should be at least planning out the base by the time we get there. We won't get it done and built, but we should have the wireframe up for the start of the base. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.